Hi, Shannon.
Hello, Kim. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm
Actually,
doing
it's good
good.
morning.
I know, right? Another fabulous day here in Tulum. And today I'm actually heading out. So it's been amazing and interesting. And I don't know, like it's always interesting going into another country. I probably would feel exactly the same going into Canada and looking at food that you aren't always familiar with looking at. And, there's going to be, I don't know how many different things are really in Canada, to be honest, but, my girlfriend who's just moved here, she said it's the weirdest thing. I can't think of what to cook. And I said, oh, I know that feeling. I got to look this up. There must be some kind of diagnosis for this kind of feeling you have. And it's called culinary culture shock. So when foreigners move to other countries and you go into a grocery store, and even though you can find everything you normally cook with, you are also surrounded by things printed in a different language or other ingredients you aren't familiar with, and you sort of go into cooking paralysis. But because when I got here I was on a mission to find very specific things and to start cooking right away. I went, they have an amazing grocery store here, like so much better than what we have in Bali. And everything is there, but just like anything, it's in another language. And
Right.
so you have to kind of like process. And what I read online is your brain is processing these other languages, and you're looking for ingredients, and you're coming up with ideas to cook. And that's really what, for me, a fabulous grocery store is inspiring. Like you walk through, you get ideas, this is why when women grocery shop, we come out with probably way more than when we send men in, you know, um,
Absolutely.
you're like, oh, I could make that, or I could use that, or we're running low on that in the pantry, that kind of thing. But I did go back and I did buy two more bags of the hibiscus tea because this is amazing. This is less than 10 US dollars and it's huge. I mean, this is huge. So there are some really incredible things that you can pick up.
I
Um,
have yet to try that tea, and I'm going to. I love that you can show us different
oh,
culinary culture items. And I've read them all in my books. Some of them I've used, some of them I haven't. So, I mean, I just love that you can bring that. And then I'm like, oh, yes, let's try that. And
maybe
like
I
the
should go back
konjac.
and get two more bags of this and I can send you one
Yeah.
and give one away to everybody watching because this was part of the things I put out. I mean, if you I go to Starbucks in America and I
Hmm.
order, well, many, many, many years ago, it used to just be the iced black coffee with cream. That is all I ever did. And then in 2015, the last thing I really wanted to kick was dairy. I just wanted to get dairy out for a while, and I did for a long
Hmm.
time. And that's when I went to black coffee and started to get really particular about my black coffee and what kind I drank. But when I go to Starbucks, I get the venti iced tea full of ice, and then I get the passion iced tea, no lemonade, no sugar. But I mean, look at the size of these these tea leaves. These are
Wow.
true hibiscus flowers. I mean,
Right.
it's and the smell is just unbelievable. So there's like one carbohydrate or something for an entire glass of this,
Can
no
you
calories.
explain the smell? Like, what does it
Um,
smell like?
really, well, kind of like what am I thinking of? It was on the tip of my kind of like cranberries, kind of like
Okay.
cranberries. And it's not wildly aromatic like a rose petal, not like
Hmm.
that kind of, yeah, like cranberries, like very intense cranberry smell. Yeah, that's what I would describe it as. And
Okay.
the related the anthocyanins, I hope I'm saying that right, cyanethins or whatever that are
Yeah.
in hibiscus are the same compounds that are in blueberries, and that's why blueberries are good for us. So in blueberries, cranberries, it's better, you know. So anyway, I did go back and
Have
get
you
some.
ever worked with Shazandra berries?
Yes,
Okay.
I have. Yes,
Yeah.
I sure have. Very big in China, very big. It's something people regularly use in China. and goji the same. I mean, goji, we talked about that a little bit last week. Goji, I've actually got my iPad is right now on top of the Buddha Bowl station, the Buddha Bowl building station. So I've got it up high enough. Goji berries will, when Chinese people don't feel well, like just a little under the weather, not terrible, but just a little under the weather, they will drink, they call them wolf berries in China. They're called wolf
Mhm.
berries. And so you throw the goji berries in warm water, just like 10 of them, and you drink that throughout the day and it'll clean the blood. And they'll drink that for 10 days when they don't feel well.
Yeah, I love that you brought up goji berries this past week, I believe, or just the week before. But I used to drink it as a tea all the time, and it kind of fell off the wagon for me. And I've been drinking other herbal teas, but I was like, oh yeah, I used to do the schizandra berries, the goji berries, and tea all the time, and it's so good for you.
It's
Like
so good for you.
you don't have to eat a ton of goji berries, right? Because
Yeah.
they have a hard carbohydrate and can be high in sugar, but just a little dash on our Greek yogurt Buddha bowls,
Yeah.
or putting them in tea. It's a great option for
As a matter of
customers
fact, when
that
you said that,
are
like
full, right?
coming up with things that we used to do, and then we kind of get out of habits, we sort of forget. And I think that's what actually doing something like this can kind of remind us of things too, like for you, for example. But I was just looking at something today that I know about, but I don't always know a ton about. Like we pick up information and then we go back to things and we think, oh yeah, I knew that. And in the process of reading that, I came across, looking at cinnamon. And then it hit me when I was a kid, we would always have our cottage cheese with cinnamon on top. Did you ever do that?
No, but I did a lot of oatmeal with cinnamon.
Yeah.
So, but same difference, I suppose.
Well,
Like,
okay,
yeah.
try that. It's
Okay.
delicious.
I
It's
love cinnamon on
delicious.
everything. I will try it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, my mom used to really like cottage cheese with cinnamon and a little blob of apple butter. Do you have apple butter
No.
in
Well,
Canada?
yeah, I've seen it, but I haven't personally had it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll try that
homemade apple
too.
butter it's really good. I don't think you want to have too much of it, but it's
No.
obviously not a butter. It's just a very concentrated apple mash that's very pureed with a lot of cinnamon in it.
Well, they say that the apple is the multivitamin
Mm.
because it practically has everything you need in it. That whole apple a day keeps the doctor away, I'm sure comes from that statement too. I just noticed that in previous like readings that I've done, and again, keep the skin on because all of your nutrients are just under it, and that's your fiber too. But it is a multivitamin, so including an apple a day is just a great start to getting enough of your everyday small amounts of minerals into your body too. So another way would be apple butter. I'm sure it's highly
Well,
concentrated as
I
well.
think it's got extra sugar in it. So when we're talking
Well,
about added sugar, but
yeah,
it does taste amazing with cottage cheese.
yeah, I could see that. I'm gonna try it. It'll be
Yeah.
a treat one night,
Yeah,
or
just
yeah,
just a
midday
little will
snack.
go a long way. But a lot of people are using more and more cinnamon. So I did pull the cinnamon out here, which is called canela molida here in Mexico,
Okay.
in case you ever need to get it. My friend writes the names of everything on top, so she's sure she knows what she's got here. But cinnamon is really great medicinally too. I mean, cinnamon is terrific for your blood sugar. It's a great thing to add if you make a chili, like a beef chili, there are recipes that call for beef chili with cinnamon. So for my Australian and New Zealand friends where it's wintertime, it's getting a bit cold. If you make a chili, which is just a beef tomato based chili with beans and things, I have to kind of say that because different parts of the world, it's not always the same thing, chili. And you can add cinnamon to it, and it is really delicious. It brings out a whole different flavor to having chili.
It does. I mean, I've used it differently. Like last year when we were doing the food swaps, I fell in love with the cinnamon and the warm spices on sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Like I love looking for those explosive flavors to these foods, and that one's just been a staple now. Every time I make sweet potatoes, it's loaded with cinnamon or like the chili powder, the smoked paprika, and it's just such an amazing. Like my mother comes out there, I'm like, "What are you baking?" I'm like, "It's a sweet potato. I'm not baking." Well, I'm baking a sweet potato, but it's not dessert, you know? But
Right.
yeah, it like cinnamon is just I put it on everything too. And
Mm.
yeah, it helps the sugar spikes, right? So it actually controls them better, just adding that to your diet. But from a medicinal standpoint, Ceylon cinnamon, if you find
Yeah.
that you're moving into insulin resistance,
Hmm.
um, people should look at the benefits of Ceylon cinnamon as a supplement
Right.
and see if they can get their insulin back on track just before, you move into diabetes, right? So,
Right. As a matter
um,
of fact, actually, hang on one second. Hang on one second. That cinnamon in particular, I think people with heart disease tend to add in that cinnamon to kind of help with things a bit. That's what I've heard anyway.
right.
People I know who are dealing with that feel like adding in more spices in that category seem to help a lot. But what I was going to mention is when you were talking about sorry, healthy swaps and sweet potatoes and more cinnamon or more spices in general. If some of you out there are cooking with more spices than you're used to and or enjoying it, please let us know, because I do think spices are one of these things we can get very comfortable using the same things all the time, and we don't necessarily integrate and pull in new things to try. And so, being down here in Mexico, I've pulled in a lot of different peppers, and in particular, the birria tacos that I made. It calls for very specific peppers, and I did a pepper chart because a lot of times we can substitute different peppers we can find locally if we're just going for the category of the heat or smokiness of the particular pepper. And I think some recipes can be a little just a little overwhelming where you think, I can't find that. I can't find that particular ingredient. But you can swap things out in the category of spices too. And you can play around with your spices quite a lot. So my mom was someone who cooked with a lot of spices, but there were a lot of spices that you primarily find in the United States, and they weren't, um, it wasn't a wide variety. And I think we can add more spices, like not just paprika, but smoked paprika, and not just a chili, but a middle level chili. So
Hmm.
I cooked with three different chilies in the birria taco. I cooked with that. I'm not going to say it right. Arbolo. I think it's. I'm not going to say it right. And another one that's like Diana Bustamante is going to bust me out on this one. It's like Wahilo or Wahulo or something. It's a very long word. It's a very big dried pepper, but it's mild. So you can find other ingredients that you can swap out in the category of spices with some recipes and not feel like, oh shoot, I didn't have that. I didn't have that. Some recipes have very specific tastes that you really want to make sure you get right, like thyme and sage. They have such
Hmm.
distinct flavors that you want to make sure you have those. But when it comes to peppers, I think you can kind of play around. And, there's a lot of benefits to peppers when you go into all these different countries and you see the use of chili peppers. And I think in the US, we tend to steer away a little bit from using too much chili pepper, or we just use chili.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've been experimenting with some of that as well. I love the pepper chart that was created. I mean, that's a great idea because a lot of women are probably like, I don't want it too hot or I don't want it too spicy. But here, this is giving you a chart now so you can kind of play around with it in your food. Like I noticed when I made my like that Thai sweet chili sauce and I just used chili flakes. I mean, tasting that sauce direct, I'm like, whew, that's hot. But when I mixed it with the Greek yogurt, it really brought it down. So, you might create something really hot to begin with, but just look at ways that you can dial it down and dilute it even if you did make that
That's
mistake,
why
right? So,
Well, right. And that's why they use yogurt in Indian food so much, because it does balance
right.
out the heat.
See, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that that was an Indian thing. So, and here I
Yeah.
am doing it in my kitchen.
Yeah. That's exactly why they do that. There was one other interesting thing, and I know we're kind of our primary subject really is talking about hidden sugar.
Mm.
And everybody is right in the throw of doing some swaps right now. And I know a lot of people, when they look at our swap chart, they think, well, I already do all those things. And so we really wanted to talk a lot about protein this time, because that is something I think women really do struggle with, getting enough protein in. But when we talk about hidden sugar, I think this is super important, because this whole area of blood sugar spikes and insulin resistance has become a very popular subject in the category of wellness. And I even have on our Amazon page, I believe I put the books, and I will not get this lady's name right to save my life, but she's called I think the Glucose Goddess or something like that. That's the easier thing to say. But I found her information and her research so fascinating, because there's a lot we can do to sort of biohack what's happening in our body with a blood sugar spike. And one, of course, is having vinegar before you consume your meal. It's also eating food in the right order. And someone asked a question in our group chats or chats below on the portal. It's not just the blood sugar spike. There's also an important order to feeding the microbiome. And the microbiome itself is sort of its own, entire ecosystem. And so, as gross as this kind of sounds, but the excrement of one set of bacteria to the next set of bacteria is very important. And so the order in which you eat your food actually enhances the health of your microbiome. And so it's not just the benefit of, blood sugar spikes and warding off insulin resistance. It's also feeding the microbiome in the right order allows the microbiome to function properly. And so, but what I wanted to say about, hidden sugars and things like this is that even if you have to swap out some things and choose something different, you can find that you might like the change better, after a little bit of time than what you liked before. So people who like sweet tea, for example, it might take a little bit of time to get used to using a monk fruit or a stevia. I would prefer a monk fruit over a stevia. But in time, your body will adjust.
It does, yes. That I'm one who can advocate for that, loving sugar and swapping these things out. And it does not, it's not affecting my palate anymore. So the monk fruit's been great, and I think I have it's stevia extract in the whey isolate protein that I use that I put in my coffee. So I mean that's really it that I have for sugar, other than in berries and whatnot. So I've noticed a difference. You don't notice it. So I agree with you on that. I think people should just stick it through, be a little bit disciplined, and you will find probably in a week or 2 weeks you'll start to like what you that new sugar taste that's coming into your palate. I remember, actually, I'm just going on a different subject, but like extra virgin olive oil, it has a very distinctive taste, right? And way back I was told to take this from my nutritionist in my 20s, and it made me gag to just put it in my mouth. But he's like, stick it through for a few weeks, and now my palate, it's used to it. Like I can have olive oil, like using an olive oil, a good one in like your salads, right? And you just don't notice the flavor anymore. So yeah, ladies, stick it out. You might hate it at first, but it does get easier.
Yeah. And I think
So
when you go back to things that I'm not a real sugar sort of lover. I don't know what it is. My middle son is the same as me. We both like really salty things. So I think you kind of are one or the other. But I have family members that love sugar for sure. I think when you go back to those sugary things and you taste them, it almost just doesn't even taste good, because it's so
no.
intense, the taste of the sugar.
Hmm. It actually tastes sickly. Like I'm like, oh, I can't have this. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
isn't
actually
it? It's
adjusts to the better.
I would love to know what people are using to swap out their sugar. I seriously, I love monk fruit. I love it. And like I said, I don't eat a lot of sugary things, but if you're going to have a pad thai, and pad thai is one of the recipes from last year in there. And then I just made two amazing cold salads using monk fruit, because it was an Asian sesame dressing. And, there are certain things that pad thai, if people don't know, the pad thai from restaurants, if you look at a traditional pad thai recipe, it is absolutely loaded with sugar. I would guess that pad thai has more than a can of Coke has in it. Like it's got to have 6 tablespoons of sugar in it. It's
Hmm.
shocking. And when I learned that many years ago, I learned that I was horrified. I mean, it's just so much sugar in one meal.
Absolutely. And it's all hidden, whether in restaurants or takeout food. So finding ways to eat it at home is definitely better, or finding better restaurants that eat that make cleaner recipes is ideal. So, and
Well,
then
and that's actually someone said, "What do you do when you're eating out?" And that was a question, and I totally understand that challenge. I do travel with food with me because of those issues. And in Australia, I'm not sure in the grocery stores in America. I'm guessing you could get this, but in Australia, they do have these sachets of concentrated bone broth, and you can travel with that. And then you can make a cup of broth. You can get some really good food while you're traveling. And I know that's not always ideal when you're out to restaurants, but let me just say that the oils used in restaurants, you want to know what the oil is because it does matter a lot. And because I'm in a lot of Asian countries and I lived in China for a long time, I could tell you horrifying stories about oil and the great lengths they go to continue to reuse oil. I mean, I know we know the McDonald's story of how they added, a scent to the oil so they could use oil for a week to fry the French fries, and then it wasn't going to make the whole place smell so bad. And now I think they've moved to maybe doing beef fat at McDonald's. I'm not sure. I feel like I've heard that, but it would be great if they did. But oils do matter, and they're extremely carcinogenic, and they're terrible for our health when they're, especially if they're reused multiple times and they've broken down already. But vegetable oils are just terrible for us. So bringing in avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil to regularly cook with can make a dramatic change in your health. Just that kind of change alone, that kind of swap to me is worth the extra money for sure.
yeah, and you can feel it in your body. So people need to really pay attention to the signs if you do eat out. Think about how your joints feel after, or what inflamed. It could be your skin the next day. You will notice it. So pay attention to those things when you're eating out, and start connecting the dots to your diet and your food and how you're feeding your microbiome. And then you can start to tie it to it could be itchy ears like I've experienced, or all of a sudden your fingers feel like they're swollen, and it's like, what did I do differently, right? So you really gotta, it is important to track and journal these things in a sense too, because you'll start to pay attention and tie it to your own habits that you might not just be aware of. So um, I agree with you on the oil front. Like, really watch where you're getting your takeout food from, because it's wreaking havoc in your body and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And it's, well, I'll save it for another time. I do have an unbelievable oil story from China. It just, when I found that out, there was absolutely no point in eating out. it's just, it was just shocking. And so, but on that note, I do have a big, nice glass of my tea here, which is so good.
amazing.
Mm.
And
You can't quite measure how many of these you should put in there, so you can see how dark this is. But it's so
yeah,
delicious. Add a bunch of
it
ice,
even
and it's great.
it just looks like a juice. It looks so thirst quenching.
It's delicious. I love it. I mean, what's really great is those big ones at Starbucks cost $4 and $5, and here you can get a whole bag. Last you a year for $10. But so
So
what kind of things
yeah,
are you trying, Shannon? Tell me, what are you trying? What have you incorporated that's fresh and new for you?
well, I didn't do a lot with the konjac noodles last year. That was new to me that you shared. So I experimented with that over the past year, and used it in my recipe recently. And it's just a great way to add more fiber, and you feel full. And there's like hardly any calories to this amazing ingredient. and you can turn it into some pretty fabulous pasta dishes, which I have not done too much of yet. I mostly just kind of toss it in my, like that Thai salad chicken bowl that I made. But that's an one, or just infusing water with different things, or it could be berries, pineapples, lemons, just to help with some thirst quenching things. So I'm not reaching for sweets, right? So um, the other thing was moving to, like a long time ago, I did this, but moving from flavored yogurt to Greek yogurt is a huge change in a sugar swap. And I just notice ever since adding that higher protein to my life, my skin and hair and nails, like what a total difference. You'll really notice, like if you're a woman that breaks out during even like your monthly cycle, it actually happens less by just getting that protein up to where it needs to,
Wow.
so your body's consistently building and repairing. If you're not getting that up there, your body can't repair, right? So you have to do that, and on top of it, it's going to curb those sweet cravings. So protein, definitely fiber, and eating in the correct order is the way to move in the right direction while working on your sugar swaps. You'll start to notice the cravings going down by just doing this change over the next 30 days. So,
Well, to me, they're just simple, right? They're
yeah,
completely logical and simple things you can action on. It's not restrictive. You're not asking too much to like, oh, okay, well, wait a second. I have a plate full of food here. Let's just start eating in the right order, right? And or oh, let's add some fermented food to every meal. Like that's not that hard either. And to me,
no,
that's why the whole program is really just about simple changes, and then really dialing into yourself and what do you notice, because we're not all the same, and we all have, believe me, we are not all the same. Our microbiomes are their own set of DNA, everything else going on in there. I mean, I say that liberally, but we are not all the same, and how our body reacts is not the same. And so, it's very difficult to have a one-stop shop on getting healthy. It is systematic steps in the right
yeah,
direction, and then evaluation of yourself.
absolutely. You got to just start one thing at a time. Don't be overwhelmed about it, and just kind of figure out, look at the labels of the things that you're eating, see what's in there. I mean, if you see sugar at the beginning of the list, that means it's the number one ingredient in there. So then go to the label and read how many grams of sugar are now am I consuming in that serving. So I mean, that one small swap could change a lot for you. And
Yeah.
I mean,
I think, wasn't there recently, let's just say in the last 10 years, they passed a law that you had to actually, they weren't putting the amount of sugar on the nutrition label once upon a time. And they
no,
passed a law that they had to put the sugar on there. And when you go to spaghetti sauce, which is probably one of the number one canned things that people buy around the world, is a
yeah,
pasta sauce. It's
mm-hmm.
absolutely loaded with sugar. I mean, loaded with sugar. So, I always, that is one label I will always be sure to read no matter what. Even if it says organic, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, I'm still going to look at that label and double check it. And in some cases, you're better off just to get a passata sauce, some fresh tomatoes, some garlic, some onions, some basil, some olive oil, and make your own, because it really is just shocking the amount of sugar that's in pasta sauce.
I agree. And I know, I notice a lot of women too, like a carbonated drink. And if you're going to go to that, I do recommend staying away from the diet ones with aspartame in it. That's not a good sugar. It will cause nervous systems uh, symptoms that are not good over time. You won't notice them probably right away, and even headaches is another one. But if you're going to drink a carbonated drink, move to just a carbonated water with infused flavors. Uh, that way, I mean, you're still going to get your water up then. You're going to feel full, and it's going to help curb cravings further. I mean, that's just one small thing you can do if you really love your carbonated drink, which I know a lot of women do. So that's another swap that I've worked with when I'm on the road. And actually, I found one that was like it was a Shazandra chai infused carbonated water, and it was so delicious. And I'm like, where can I buy cases of this? But they only sell them singular in this store that I found over in Belleville, which is actually like 45 minutes from me. But I've been like venturing to these new stores now and trying to find new things. And that was just one cool find. And I just hope women just make that change and see if you have headaches all the time and see if all of a sudden they disappear. Like that could be one small swap that you do there as well. So
You know,
yeah.
I was listening to a doctor I listen to pretty regularly, and he said the number one, well, first of all, he said the number one thing that happens when you go into a hospital is they immediately start to give you saline.
Right.
And they do that because people are chronically dehydrated. And which is very interesting because when he said that, I thought, wow, I want to definitely look into this more because in China, whenever people get sick, they go right to the hospital. That's where they go. There's no like in betweens like we have in all these other countries. You just go to the hospital. And I was always shocked that pretty much every time they went to the hospital, I said, well, what did they treat you with? Like, we have Bali belly and in Indonesia and stuff, but like, what did they treat you with? Oh, they gave me water. I said, everybody's always getting water. And so when I heard this doctor say that 90% of the illnesses that drive people into a hospital stem from chronic dehydration, I thought, wow, that is huge. That's like a very powerful statement. That's why I really want to look into that more. But I do think, again, don't quote me on this, but when you drink, just sparkling mineral water, let's say, all the time over water, I do think it's less hydrating. It's definitely less hydrating, sparkling water. So,
Hmm.
I loved your add a pinch of salt and add the for the potassium, add the cream of tartar. Like, I don't think people think about the things they can add to their water, especially to remineralize it, because most water is purified and stripped of all minerals. So when you do add the sea salt in, you are getting some sea salt has, well, all sea salt's a little different, but it can be up to 96 different minerals that you're getting when you add sea salt. I say minerals, and thinking of the next word here. I'm not getting it all. It's not all minerals, but
It's
so adding,
electrolytes
oh,
in
yeah, it's
general. Yeah.
electrolytes. So you are remineralizing your water when you add salt, which is great because
Yeah.
not a lot of people have pretty stripped water. And then adding the cream of tartar, I'd never heard of that. I thought that was fantastic.
That was a new trick I learned in the past year talking with another nutritionist actually who developed an electrolyte drink for people who just need it. And I thought it was a cool hack. And I'm like, well, we need to share this. Like
Yeah.
more women need to know. Like we don't drink enough water or we drink too much and we're still dehydrated because we're always low on electrolytes. Like I understand. I've worked out. I've had the headaches after, and I'm just like, why do I feel this way? And it's your electrolytes. Get them up.
Well, and that sleep lady I was listening to as well, she talks about having a little bit of warm water and salt before you go to bed with your
Mhm.
magnesium because it will hydrate your cells while you're sleeping, which will give you a better sleep. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of women need better sleep. I never thought in my life sleep would be such a thing that I'd need because I used to fall asleep at the drop of a hat and sleep so solid. But I think with hormonal changes and all the things we are going through as our bodies go through different stages and ages, sleep becomes just a critical element of staying healthy is getting good sleep.
I agree. And again, I could not lose weight because I couldn't get a solid sleep. My sleep score was quite low, and I had to work through that to figure out what I needed. And again, yep, I drink the water, electrolytes before bed. I'm having magnesium. And I've been working with ashwagandha, like mentioned before, just to help because I might have higher stress days, so I'll pop like one of those in every once in a while to help me through if I need to. And it's just, yeah, sleep's important if you really want to keep your weight in control, your health in control, your nervous system in the right place, so you're not having other symptomatic problems coming up. So I agree.
Well, it's something I really think about. I really think about it now when I go to bed. I have everything on the side of my bed so that I can
Yeah.
easily, make sure to not skip a beat. And I do the castor oil in the belly button, and that has just been a game changer. Like, I don't know if I talked about that last week, but
Yes.
I think it's
Castor
amazing.
oil has so many benefits to it. Oh my gosh. Like
Yeah.
it is an old remedy that needs to be talked about more again. Yeah.
Yeah, I met a esthetician who lives locally here, and she said, "Oh, I can give you a facial." I've had, I think, one facial in my life that I can recall. I mean, I've never really done that, but I said, "Oh, maybe next time I'm here," because I just didn't have a lot of time this time. But she said, "Don't use anything on your face but rosehip oil and castor oil. Nothing." She said, "Clean your face with brown sugar. That's it." She's like, nothing else. She was asking my routine when I told her my age. And I said, well, one thing I do is I clean my skin every night. That I do. I never leave my makeup on all night,
Hmm.
ever, no matter what. I never do. And I used to exfoliate my skin a lot more than I do now. And she said, oh, you need to get back to exfoliating. I said, oh, okay. So she has some little tips. But speaking of skin and still sugar, I want to know if you know this because you and I don't talk before we talk, and I think
Right.
that's probably better because we probably get
We
all
can
talked
surprise
out.
each other. Yeah.
But did you know that skin tags are a sign of insulin resistance? You
I
knew that.
do. I did know that. Yep.
So fascinating. When I learned that, I thought, okay, that is, everyone should be paying attention to that because a lot of people will get their skin tags just removed, or you think they're part of the wart family, or,
Hmm.
whatever. Because when you go into the drugstore, you'll see wart remover, skin tag remover. Well, they're a sign, they could be part of the wart family. I really don't know, but they are a sign of insulin resistance. And the more you have, the bigger the signs. And I think, wow, that is fascinating. Like, if we knew, our body speaks to us in so many ways. And if you've
Yeah.
got skin tags, you probably are having a lot of blood sugar spikes. And when you have those blood sugar spikes and then insulin's produced, eventually, your body just stops responding to the insulin. And now you're insulin resistant. So you're just constantly putting your body in this fluctuation. And so when you look at hidden sugar, swapping out sugars, eating in the right order, walking right after you eat, all these little tiny biohacks to really aiding our digestion and then also keeping our blood sugar level or as level as possible, and how important it is to our overall health because so many people develop type 2 diabetes. But there's
Yes.
many signs way before that.
You're speaking my language on being able to look at the appearance of someone, because that was something that I had to learn is it's called symptomatology, right? And you can look at the appearance of someone and kind of get an idea of what they're going through, right from like their nail beds to certain markings in the eyes can indicate things, and like the inner part of the pupil represents more of your inner part of your
That's
body, the outer
iridology, right? Iridology.
iridology.
Oh, I
Yes,
love that.
and the outer layer represents like it could be your epidermis or your blood, and then your organs. The top half of your eye has to do with your brain health. So if you notice people that have more, maybe like not everyone, but like if there's more yellows and browns up in that upper part of the eye, you should really look at how your mentality's doing, or the striations. If you see striations in your fingers, that could mean malnutrition. So,
What
or
are
I
the
think
ridges? There's white lines mean something, and then ridges mean something.
the ridges. I'll have to get back to you on that. It's in my little chart, but I
Yeah.
remember some of them. Like white dots can mean, I think, a zinc deficiency. Now, mind you, make sure you didn't hit your fingers, so because they'll show up that way too. And I don't know if everyone ever notices little black lines that show up. That's an indication of a deficiency as well, but I can't remember which one. I think a pale blue or a pale color in the fingernail can also represent I think more of a lymphatic issue, or it could be cancer related.
Mm.
So yeah, it's really neat to know that you can just look at like skin tags or even people's skin or face or nails or eyes, and you can see the indications, even hair health too. You can see what's going on with somebody and what they might
Right.
need. And a lot of it usually is malnutrition, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
like, no matter what, protein will cover a majority of that. So get that up.
Hmm.
That's number one. I do see a huge change in people who do that. And I just wish we could connect even like the medical, holistic, and even the bodybuilding world all together, because they all understand things either on the physical level, the holistic level. You know what I mean? It's just there's
Right.
so many ways we can look at
Right.
working together.
Well, when I moved to China, I came in from America, and I came in at that time in my life from a very Western medicine perspective. And not that I was one to take a pill for everything, although that can definitely happen in the Western world. There's a pill for everything. I wasn't necessarily one of those people, but I had the mentality of Western medicine. So coming into China with Eastern medicine and having to sort of be patient to understand and listen to how Chinese people approach health. And then, having a major shift happen in my life in 2013. I was really grateful for a lot of the information I had listened to that I hadn't really fully understood, but it all kind of really came together quickly in 2013 for me. And I went down a very deep rabbit hole, and so many experiences I had in my life kind of added up to where I could grasp really holistic health and what that really meant to the body. But the Chinese use teeth as indicators. And so if you look at a chart online, maybe I'll pull up one. You can do an iridology chart, and I can do a fingernail chart, and I can do a teeth chart. But each tooth is connected to a different organ in the body. And so if you're having a particular problem with a tooth, you probably have a problem with that organ as well. And
Yep.
so, yeah, people don't always think about it. And then the bacteria in the mouth, of course, root canals are just horrendous for leaving behind terrible, terrible, constant bacteria that drains into the lymph. And that same bacteria that you find in your mouth is often found in heart disease, and it's found in breast cancer. So you will find a connection between your lymphatic drainage and what's going on in your teeth, to all kinds of parts of your body. And the other thing the Chinese do is foot massage, and particularly Taiwan. I have to say, Taiwan is absolutely amazing at this. And if you really want to sleep well, a good foot massage, and it can be a little painful. It's 90 minutes long, and it's just your feet, which you think, how can you spend 90 minutes on just my feet? But they do. And all your nerves end in your feet, and your organs are connected there. So from the top to the bottom.
Reflexology.
Yeah. What's that?
It's called
Yeah,
reflexology.
reflexology.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, they'll do all that in Taiwan, and then they'll tell you, oh, hey, you probably have something wrong with this or something wrong with that. And you think, oh, do I? But yeah, your teeth are indicators, and your feet, a little harder to detect on your feet, because we know when we have a tooth problem, right? And it's much more obvious. And I was talking to uh, my half sister. She was having a problem with a tooth. And I said, wait, let me look it up. And I looked it up, and it's connected to gallbladder, but she had her gallbladder removed. And
Right.
so, like these things, they're all connected. And our body does have little, I guess, little engine lights that go off. And it's good to tune into that, and to tune into, and that's why even in the book, which I have the book here somewhere, where did I put the book? Oh, I added, you know, my mood today is kind of broad, right? But it's really like, how do you feel this morning?
It's
And
important.
yeah, and then you can look at the day before. And you're absolutely right. With hidden things like aspartame, and I can't have MSG, I will have a horrible day the next day if I have MSG. I mean, I now know it's a horrible reaction in my body. I just feel sick right away. And then those out there that have food allergies, I don't know what you have to say about food allergies, but I have experienced some really difficult times in my life with food allergies. And I'm going through one right now, which came out of nowhere. And it's a shellfish allergy, which I've never had. And it's terrible. And I do believe it's connected to the microbiome 100%.
Yeah.
And it takes a while for food allergies to work their way out of your system. Just like,
Yes.
just like even like the taste of olive oil being tastier later, it's your body is assimilating and changing. As when you go into a new country, you know, your whole body goes through a lot to get back on track, if you know what I mean. So what do you have to say about people out there that have food allergies?
Uh, I don't know a lot on how to kind of manage them, but I've experienced them too in the same sense you have, where one year I couldn't even be outside because the pollen and it just, my eyes were just burning too. I had in my blood work last year high eosinophils.
Mm,
So I was showing an allergic reaction to something going on with me. And I didn't really like the healthier I got, and probably it fixed my microbiome. So I'm agreeing with you there. I think it corrected the allergy or made it so my body could handle it again, whatever it didn't agree with. Um, Allergies was never like my area of study, but there's definitely a connection there with how healthy you are, your microbiome, and if your system's working correctly, you can usually handle that allergy better. I mean, the best thing to do, right, is go back to the FOD maps and remove
yeah,
everything and start reintroducing things again to see what's triggering you. And then you
yeah.
can work on it from there as well. So, I mean, that's the best I could really answer right now without diving into a book.
Yeah, I know. But it's so many people suffer with food allergies. And when I had my first reaction, and I was told at the time that, you know, basically every 7 years, your whole system sort of completely turns over.
Yes.
That's what I was told a long time ago. I had a reaction to wild mushrooms. So we're big on the wild mushrooms in the Midwest, and we collect them, and the morel mushrooms, and it's a fungus. So, you know, just you can get right down to the basics here. It's a fungus, right?
Yeah.
And I had a reaction. And then a couple of years later, I had a reaction to strawberries. And then several years later, I had a reaction to white chocolate. And in now this shellfish thing, which is very interesting because I've always loved shellfish and never, ever had a problem. But I've had a lot of it living in Australia. And that's more than normal from someone from the Midwest to have a lot of seafood and a lot of prawns. And prawns have a lot of bacteria, a lot of oysters. Oysters are a filtering,
Right.
um, there's a name for them. I want to call it a mussel. It's not a mussel, but it's got another name. Someone watching this is going to say it out loud. But you know, they're kind of not the cleanest of your things to eat from the sea. Your shellfish, crab, which
So,
I love.
so it
Um,
might not be the shellfish itself. It could be some kind of bacterial imbalance,
well,
like you're
to that
saying.
point, I am absolutely. I'm like the canary in the coal mine. If I go into a house and there's mold anywhere, I'm going to have a reaction immediately.
Right.
And so now I'm very high on the mold issues. So I think I listen, I have worked on it for 2 years. I've worked on it and narrowed it down and narrowed it down. And as soon as I go into a particular house we were living in Bali, as soon as I got there, I had a reaction. And there's a lot of mold in the concrete in Bali. There's a lot of moisture. There's been an enormous amount of rain. And so, yeah, it's,
Well, I'm
it's
I'm not sure if
tricky.
this will help you, but I did watch a podcast with, I hope I have her name right, Michaela Peterson.
Mm.
It'll be Jordan Peterson's daughter.
Oh, yes, yes.
So she was talking a lot about dealing with a mold and bacterial situation, kind of similar to you. So you should check out how
I will
she
do
may
that.
have
I will
conquered
do
it
that
because
because
she went on
it's
a total
dangerous.
carnivore diet and it fixed her body. And now she's been reintroducing things back in. And just something you said there, she touched on that and had some kind of mold or bacterial issue as well. So look that up. I think
I
you
am going
might
to look
find
that up
something there.
because people don't realize, you know, like now there's a lot of talk around black mold, you know, if you've got black mold, how bad it can be for you. And,
Yes.
but there's also a lot of mold in coffee, you know, mold
Yeah.
toxins are in coffee, the mycotoxins there. And so, yeah, I definitely have a mold sensitivity. And so any of you out there dealing with food allergies, I completely feel for you because it can come on suddenly and you don't realize you've had something. So that's why I do think it is important to journal. And I hope everybody's enjoying, journaling this month and kind of getting to know themselves a little differently. What have you heard from your club? What's happening in your club?
They're loving the salt and pepper shakers, which
Oh,
I bought a set to win for our week 2, along with some
yes,
konjac rice and noodles.
yes.
They, yeah.
I'm glad you
I
brought
mean,
that up.
that's the biggest
It's in my
talk.
notes right here. I have announced the salt and pepper shaker winner. So that is coming. Okay. And, I hope everybody realizes I only put everything together like this because I am consistently asked for things and I'm sending Amazon links around. Like, it's just crazy. And so I know some people are like, oh, are you trying to sell things? No, you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. I know some people found stuff at Walmart. Great.
Yeah,
Please share what you found. It's just that people ask me all the time, well, what book was that? Where did you get that? Or, what are you talking about here? I'm like, oh my gosh, I just constantly send Amazon links from everywhere. And I thought I need to make a page and then
I
everybody can
love
just
that.
go there. And so I try and load in the books that I'm reading, or, some of it's really great for us curves, small business owners. And, some of it's great for our members too. So I thought, well, let's just put it there. So I have salt and pepper shakers on here and I have the Vitamix on here. And so, the Vitamix, we announced the Vitamix winners, or I think it's gone up. So that's kind of exciting for
Yeah.
those out there. I'm so sorry. It's only one of our promotions that kind of slipped through the cracks. Things just got so intense. And, you were gone a really long time and I really wanted to do it with you, but I was like, where is Shannon
Sorry.
now? She's on another mountain. She's summited another mountain. I don't know where she is.
Next
Uh,
time, let's go on a mountain together and we'll do
yeah.
the draw there.
Yeah. Even my daughter's like, Mom, what happened there? I'm like, well, it was just one of those things. I really wanted to do it with Shannon. And then she was gone. She was just like literally gone. And then things just got so busy with road trip. And we went into such a great big thing with Olivia Newton-John last year. And we've got exciting news around
Yeah.
that coming up too. So we're in planning on that now. And so I just hope everybody's really enjoying everything. As a matter of fact, let's do this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the store before I leave. I'm actually flying this afternoon. And I will get another bag of the, I always say it wrong. I want to say Jamaica looking at it, but it's Jamaica, Jamaica,
Really?
Jamaica, Jamaica,
It's Jamaica? Oh,
Jamaica.
okay.
Jamaica is the proper pronunciation of this. The
Okay.
guy took me to it yesterday and it was a small one. I go, no, mucho grande, mucho grande. What the really big ones. So I will do that. We'll give away a bag of this. Okay. So
Is that something that can be found on Amazon? Because I would love to order that and maybe make that another prize for next week.
I don't think this big. Do you want me to pick you up a bag? I can get you a
Sure. I mean,
bag. I don't
I'm gonna
think
have
this
to look
big.
for it though.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's large, but it's hibiscus tea. So Puka
Hibiscus
makes
tea.
one, and Puka makes one, and Tao, the one that Starbucks carries, they
Oh
make it.
yes.
Yeah, in the tea bags. But this is just
Okay.
this is mucho grande. So
Right.
this lasts you forever. So we can do that. And then one of the ladies said she found, like a Buddha bowl topping station thing at Walmart, which is great. So if you find things and you want to share a photo, share it with everybody so they can see, because sometimes it's easier to get to Walmart than ordering from Amazon or what have you. But I have to tell
Hmm.
you, this little station is a game changer. Like,
I can imagine. It's just like you've got all these choices. They're not all in bags hidden in your cupboard. It's a great idea.
it's so fast. It's so fast. It's like, okay, just flick that open and it's really
Yep.
fast. And so I think, I think preparation is a big part of being able to eat healthy. And so if you can just take some time on a Sunday or what have you and put everything together for the week and you've got things ready made, it does make it a lot easier. And, I've got a lot of recipes coming up, but I'm going to be on the road for the next 2 weeks and it's going to be a little hectic, Shannon. So I'm going to have to lean on you a little bit here.
All
Um,
right.
but I do have I've got an exciting, and I'm
Okay.
just hold this one. I've got a really exciting electrolyte recipe because you stimulated me to think in
Oh,
Bali that
yay.
is amazing. And I'm going to save that for the last week because I'll be back in Bali. We have
Okay.
a very big celebration for curves. in Indonesia once a year. It's called the Amazing Celebration, and it's our member event. Hundreds of women come together and we celebrate what we've been able to achieve in our health for a year at Curves. And we highlight different ladies' stories. And so that's on the 27th of June, and that's in Jakarta. So I'll have to
I
share
love
some
that.
highlights. Yeah,
Yes, please do.
and right before that, we go to two very specific orphanages. I say orphanages; they're schools slash orphanages that we support of children at very high risk for a variety of terrible things that could happen otherwise. These two little independent schools do just an incredible job with these children, and so that's who we sponsor through our charity work in Indonesia, and so that's happening right before the event. And anyway, I'm on my way back for that. And so I hope everybody is. Oh, one last thing. I am making one thing before I leave here. Did you try this last year? The high protein ice cream?
No, not yet. And I should because ice cream is always my go-to.
Well, I'm making that. I am making that right before I leave here and leaving it in the freezer for my friends. So I'm using Greek
Hey.
yogurt. I'm using full fat Greek yogurt, full fat cottage cheese. I probably will add in some monk fruit because I have a feeling it's just not going to have quite the sweetness. And then I'm going to add, I'm going to do two kinds because I really want to try, and it's right over here. Let me grab it. I've got some. This one is cacao. I'm going to do the macchiato coffee high
Oh,
protein powder. So this is a full protein shake in the ice cream with the Greek yogurt, with the cottage cheese, with some monk fruit, and I'm going to make a coffee ice cream.
that sounds
So
delicious. I
stay
can't
tuned.
wait.
Stay tuned on how that's going to turn out. So last year we used the creamy and the Ninja creamy and
Yes.
made some high protein ice cream. But we do have our avocado ice cream on our tea towel. My Australian friends there wanted not traditional Australian foods, but some traditional Australian ingredients. And so the avocado ice cream is one a lot of people have tried and really, really like. And so you can also make an avocado chocolate cake, which I make for my son. So it's gluten free, but it has avocado
Okay.
in it and it's so moist. So if you haven't tried that hack, throw in a nice ripe avocado into a gluten free chocolate cake mix or make it from scratch, which I do. It is delicious. You would be so surprised at how great it tastes. And then you can have a healthy cake. And I know we have 4th of July coming up. So, um, anyhow, but all your ladies are having a good time doing Pure 30 in your club.
Yes, they are. They're enjoying all the new foods to experiment with, and I got a lot of questions on where did you get those konjac rice and konjac noodles? And our store in town is Farm Boy. I finally found them there. Last year, I could not find them. This year, am noticing a big change in the stores, and there's a lot more culture type food coming in, and I love it. So I'm like, all these things Kim's talking about is in our stores now. Yay.
Sometimes you
But
just
yeah,
have to
they're
hunt
loving
for
it.
it and ask for it. If you ask
Yep.
for it, they start to get things, you know?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, yep, the konjac rice, they love that idea instead of noodles this year. So, I know a few ladies reached out to me and they're trying that. So, yeah, it's
Oh,
going
good.
good.
I'm so glad. It is very fun to cook with it, and it goes so much faster than you realize. Last year, because I didn't make salads, I hadn't done the dry frying. So you'll see in my recipes coming up, you dry fry them for 5 to 6 minutes to remove some of the moisture, and then you can turn it into a really nice cold salad. Oh, I did in America. Do you have this in Canada? Do you have a 7 layer salad in Canada?
What do you mean by a 7 layer salad?
Right. It's an American dish. It might be
No.
just a dish from the Midwest. I don't know, but
Okay.
like it's like, if you have a family gathering, someone's bringing the 7 layer salad. And it's so the
Different
7 layers.
ingredients.
Yes, so it's
Yeah.
lettuce and then I'll probably get this wrong. Let me count. Okay, so there's lettuce, there's tomatoes, there's bacon, there's egg, there's onion, purple onion,
Hmm.
peas, cheese, and then there's mayonnaise. It's basically it. A
Okay.
mayonnaise kind of drippy
Yep.
dressing that goes right through. So mine came out to be 10 layers by the time I was done, but it wasn't, it was layered into a Buddha bowl. But I made it with Greek yogurt, Parmesan cheese, feta cheese, and the purple onion was cut really small in the Greek yogurt. I'm telling
Mm.
you what, that salad, and I put it on top of shiitake noodles. That salad was absolutely amazing. And so I'm trying to do things that, you know, I'm making up my own recipes. I'm not finding, somebody, making recipes online and then going, okay, I can just adapt that. I'm making my own recipes of, things that I love or, I know are traditional foods we love. And, whether it's an Asian dish or whatever, and then just breaking it down and going, okay, how can I make this whole thing healthier? And I think that's really all it is. You
Yeah.
don't need a recipe, you need good ingredients and just go, okay, what do I normally make this with? And then just fix it all.
Yeah. There's been a couple of like there'll be these rice bowls or salad bowls that I experienced going to restaurants, and I that's where that Thai chicken one came from. There was one that I had, it wasn't good for you, not at all when I had it. And I'm like, I want to make that at home in a healthy version. So that one actually was inspired by what I had not good for me. And I'm like, okay, I want to make this good at home. And then kind of put it together with like a Greek yogurt dressing, get rid of all that awful oils and good carbohydrates and with the konjac rice in there, it was just a beautiful texture to it, and it makes you feel full, right? So you don't feel hungry after it's sitting in there.
But you don't
So
feel tired. That's what I love about the konjac.
yeah, you don't get the crash after like a big pasta bowl, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah, you feel an even energy all day.
Yeah,
That's what's
100%.
important. Yep.
Oh, good. Well, I love it. Well, can't wait to see what you got for us this week, Shannon. It'll be a fun week as we, I guess, power through week 2. And I hope everybody's doing okay out there. Please share with us what you're up to, what you're loving, anything really. I mean, I love hearing from everybody. It gives me ideas. And also,
Yeah.
it's just good to hear you're finding things in unusual places. Walmart is an amazing place sometimes to find things. There's a particular mouthwash, by the way, speaking of teeth, I will recommend this. There's a particular fantastic mouthwash that is not easy to find, and it's really, really, really great. And not that I think you should always, change the microbiome of the mouth because it is very important, but a mouthwash every now and then is an okay idea too. It's called Colossus, and I saw it at Walmart. I could not believe it. It's $11 for the bottle, which in Australia, if you order that online, dentists will recommend that. It's um, it's a mouthwash made with chlorine dioxide, which is really just phenomenal overall for your health. And it's $11 at Walmart. So I bought it and put it in my
Interesting.
suitcase and brought it back to Australia because I couldn't believe it. So yeah, Walmart has some interesting things. You never know what you're going to find there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've had some good finds there too. Or even just, kitchen items. Like
I know. Well,
the recent
they're
thing that I
big.
love that is out there is like I use a lot of the Ninja products here, but Ninja has a new type of air fryer that's a glass dish.
Yay. I was so worried about that. When I
Yes.
saw you air frying, I thought, oh gosh, I hope, because I switched my rice cooker to stainless steel. And
Right.
I did that years ago because
Yeah.
all this Teflon, if you haven't seen that movie Dark Waters, I mean, please watch it. It is just, and all the news around the air frying because of the Teflon. That's really what it is. Oh, I'm so glad you said
Hmm.
that. So you've got a
Yeah.
glass one.
Yes. So I
Right.
love that. So that was the last of the Teflon, I think, in my house. So
That and the black, you've got to get rid of all the black, cooking
yes.
tools.
Yeah. I've moved all to wooden or steel.
Yeah.
So it's been yeah, it's just getting all those micro chemicals out of your body. So you're just a little bit healthier.
PFAs, those forever
Yeah.
chemicals. I mean, if you
Yeah.
haven't seen that movie, ladies, Dark Waters, okay, like that is an eye opener. And just wow, the whole Teflon thing, that's all I can say is wow. Because I mean, we grew up in the Teflon era, really.
Uh-huh. Like I was in it for a little while too.
I will say this, my parents, until just a couple of years ago, their Panasonic microwave from 1977 that they won just gave out. I can't even imagine the
Oh
volume
my
of
goodness.
radiation that came out of that thing. We would cook chicken in there for an hour. Like, I just
Uh-huh.
think back to all the microwaving, and my mom was just like, "Oh, we're only cooking with butter, not with margarine," like yada yada yada. But then we used that microwave like you wouldn't believe in a glass dish, which was great. We were cooking our chicken in 2 sticks of butter and a glass dish in a microwave from 1977. I mean, seriously, I can't even imagine if you did one of those, little meters around it, it would probably go.
And I do believe it does genetically modify the foods, right? If I remember correctly, in a microwave.
Makes them less nutritious for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole thing on cooking appliances and utensils, just talking about all that. But yeah, do switch out, do get switched in, and talk to your phone a little bit. Just hold your phone up and say all these healthy things, and then all of a sudden the algorithm will send you all kinds of
You're
great
right.
healthy ideas.
Yeah. Every time I have a conversation with you, I've got all this new stuff coming up on ads and whatnot, right? With my
I know
phone
they're
deciding
listening to
to.
us everywhere, no matter what you do. Just don't even
Yep,
bother to turn it off anymore. I'd rather see things I'm interested in anyway. Like.
exactly. Roll with it.
Well, listen, so good to chat with you. I am off to buy myself a couple more big bags of this.
And
And
safe travels back.
yeah, thank you. I'm heading to Houston, and from Houston to Illinois, I'll be in the Peoria Club for a micro minute before heading to Australia. And so by the time I
Have you been
talk to you,
seeing Kim going live in her kitchen?
yes, yes,
Ah, that's amazing. I love that.
yes, I have. It's been great
Yeah,
because she got me on to the what do you call it, the hearts of palm noodles that you can get on Amazon.
yeah,
Yeah, she got me onto those. I'm like, oh, that's great. So yeah, we can all help each other with really good ideas, and just, keep moving one step closer to healthier and healthier and healthier. And at the end of the day, and we will be talking about this in week 4, it really is getting a healthy microbiome. And that's what we're doing. We're building health inside. And then everything we do at Curves, it just is a great complement. So
yeah,
this program, is never meant to be anything too intense, but, educational, fun, and simple steps that we all can take and we all can accept. And to me, that's the Curves way. I mean, our workout, how can you not accept 30 seconds on each piece of equipment, right? Like,
hmm
when I
It's so
heard that
simple,
from
done
Curves,
for
I'm
you.
like, I can accept that I
Yep,
could do that.
done for you. You don't have to think about it.
That's right.
Covers every muscle group that you
Well,
need,
and
and you
that's
get
pretty
your
much what you're,
cardiovascular.
that's right. And that's pretty much what your kitchen becomes. Once you've replaced
Yep.
everything, fixed everything, you don't have to think about it either.
Yeah, so we're here trying to design the preparation. Here's all your tools, couple few swaps, make your life easier, Sunday cooking, so you're ready for the week. There you go,
And
done for
hopefully
you
you
in
don't have to
30
come up with
minutes.
any, hopefully you don't have to come up with any new ideas. Hopefully you and I have given everybody enough new ideas to try things. But I
Yeah,
will be talking to you next week from Australia.
sounds good.
Yes, and it's winter there, so I might have to whip out a few warm
Oh,
dishes.
okay. Yes, I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Okay. Well, until then, I will talk to you later, Shannon. Have a great week. Happy Monday. And we'll see
Thanks.
everybody later.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.